Recording 7. The blinking device led me to an unmarked door on the landing. I documented that in recording 6. What I didn't finish documenting, what I need to start with tonight, is what I found when I went back the following night and the door was locked again. I tried the key labeled 47. The lock opened. I entered the room. I retrieved the letter from the metal box on the shelf. I read it. I'm recording this now because I've been sitting with the letter's contents for 2 days, and I need to get it out of my head and into documentation before I lose the precise wording. Memory is unreliable here. I've seen enough evidence of that to treat everything I carry in my head as provisional until it's recorded. The letter is dated 1923. The handwriting is clean and deliberate, someone writing for the record, not for correspondence. It describes, in formal language, a series of experiments conducted at 47 Marginal Road beginning in 1919. The author uses the phrase temporal intersections without defining it, as if writing for a reader who already understands the terminology. It references erosion events at a location called Point Zero. It warns against accessing Point Zero without what the author calls correct alignment of approach, and states that 2 previous attempts at alignment had produced what they call irreversible memory displacement in the individuals involved. I want to be precise about what irreversible memory displacement suggests because I've been turning it over for 2 days, and I think it's the most important phrase in the document. It doesn't say the individuals were harmed physically. It doesn't say they disappeared. It says their memory was displaced, which I read as they forgot, not selectively, not partially. The implication in context is that the displacement was total. The individuals approached Point Zero without correct alignment and came away without memory of having done so, or possibly without memory of more than that. The second witness's journal used the phrase memory erosion. Same phenomenon, different vocabulary. The journal was written by someone who had access to either this letter or the same source material. The letter does not say who the author is. It does not say who the intended reader is. It ends mid-sentence. The final line reads, "The crescent markers are not symbolic. They are functional, and their sequence must be followed in." That's where the text stops, not a page break. The sentence ends where the typing ends, as if whoever was writing it stopped and never came back. The letter is in my jacket pocket right now. I've been carrying it for 2 days. Tonight, I'm going back to 47 Marginal Road because the letter mentions a secondary record kept in a room the author describes as accessible only through the passage behind the northwest shelf. I need to find that room and whatever is in it. That's the objective for this recording. I'm inside. Just past midnight, I came in through the side entrance. The latch on the ground floor window has been loose for weeks, and I've been using it rather than the main door because the main door makes noise. The device is in my left jacket pocket. I turned it on as I entered. The blink rate settled at the baseline 4-second interval when I was on the ground floor, which tells me I'm not near whatever it's tracking right now. That's useful information. It means what I'm looking for is not on the ground floor. I'm in the records room. The ledger shelf is on my right. The northwest corner of this room is directly ahead of me, which puts the bookshelf in the corner against the left wall as the most likely candidate for the passage behind the northwest shelf. I've walked past this shelf dozens of times. It's floor to ceiling, built into the wall, filled with ledger volumes and document boxes. Nothing about it has ever suggested a passage. But I also walked past the unmarked door on the landing twice without noticing it was a door. I'm checking the device. 3-second interval. Slightly faster than baseline. Something in this room or near it. I started at the left edge of the shelf and worked right, checking behind each section for any gap between the shelf back and the wall. The first 3 sections are flush. The shelf is built directly against the plaster with no clearance. The 4th section from the left, the one in the northwest corner, has a gap. I can feel it with my fingers, maybe 2 inches of space between the back panel and the wall. I removed the document boxes from the bottom 2 shelves of that section, 12 boxes total, stacked in pairs. Behind the second row of boxes on the bottom shelf, the back panel is not attached to the shelf frame. It rests against the wall. I pushed it and it moved. The device interval, 2 seconds. The panel swings inward on a pivot. The passage behind it is narrow, single file, maybe 18 inches wide. The floor is the same old timber as the rest of the building. The walls are plaster over brick. There's no light source. I'm going in. The passage runs approximately 15 feet before opening into a room. The room is small, maybe 10 feet square. No windows. A single lamp on a table, the kind that runs on a switch, and when I found the switch on the wall beside the entrance, it worked. Someone has maintained the electrical connection to this room. The room contains a desk, a wooden chair, and a typewriter. The typewriter is a 1920s model, the kind with the round glass keys and the curved paper guide above the carriage. It's in reasonable condition for its age, no dust cover. The keys are clean, which is wrong for a room that has clearly been sealed for a long time. The platen, the rubber roller that the paper feeds around, should be cracked and dried out after a century of disuse. It isn't. It's pliable. Someone has maintained this machine, or it has been maintained by something that isn't a person. I'm not drawing a conclusion from that. I'm noting it because the condition of the typewriter is inconsistent with the condition of everything else in this room, and inconsistencies are what I'm here to document. There is paper in the carriage. The paper is cream-colored, heavier stock, the same weight as the letter from the metal box. The top edge is ragged, torn from a larger sheet rather than cut. Someone loaded this page in a hurry, or loaded it themselves from a source that wasn't a standard paper supply. I'm reading it now. The text is mid-document, not the beginning of a letter or report, but a continuation of something. The first line on the page reads, "At which point the third marker confirms alignment and the approach to the southern convergence becomes viable." Morrison has the anchor document. The sequence cannot complete without confirmation from both parties. Morrison. Hannah T. Morrison's name is in this document. In a typewritten letter that has been in a sealed room behind a hidden panel in a building that has been, as far as anyone outside this investigation knows, an ordinary record storage facility. I'm not going to overstate what that means yet. I'm documenting that her name is there in that context, before I process what the context implies. The document continues below that line. I'm reading it carefully. It describes what it calls the anchor, a document that must be held by a specific party at the time of approach to point zero. It says the anchor document establishes continuity across the intersection, and that without it, the approach produces the same memory displacement outcome as previous attempts. It references the 1923 letter, the one I found in the metal box, by describing its contents, which means this document was written after that letter by someone who had read it. Near the bottom of the page, the text shifts register, from formal description to something more urgent. The last full paragraph reads, "The attempts in 1919 and 1921 failed because neither party carried the anchor and neither party understood the sequence as functional rather than symbolic." If you are reading this and you have not yet found the crescent markers in correct order, stop. Go back to the first marker. The sequence begins at the ground floor, and it must be completed in. The text stops. Same construction as the 1923 letter. Mid-sentence. As if the same person wrote both documents and was interrupted both times, or chose to stop both times at the same point. I've been in this room for about 30 minutes. I pulled the chair up to the desk, and I've been going through the other materials here. A shallow drawer in the desk contained 3 items: a folded map of the building's ground floor with crescent marks at 4 locations, a small photograph I haven't examined fully yet, and a rusted box I haven't opened. The map is straightforward in one sense. The 4 crescent marks are numbered, 1 through 4, in a sequence that moves through the building. The first mark is in the records room. The second mark is on the staircase landing. The third mark is on the upper floor. The fourth mark is at a location labeled only as Southern Node in the basement level below the filing room. I have a watch engraved with the number 2. I have a cassette with the number 4 pressed into the shell. I now have a map showing 4 numbered locations in sequence. The device in my pocket. I checked the interval when I entered this room. It dropped immediately to just over 1 second, the fastest I've recorded. Whatever the device is tracking, this room is close to it, or this room is it. I'm reaching for the rusted box. The key labeled 47. I'm trying it in the lock and the lamp is flickering. The vibration is coming from below, from the floor, not the walls. It's rhythmic, 1 pulse every few seconds, slow and deliberate, not structural settling, something operating. The key is in the lock. I'm turning it. Inside the box, a mirror, small enough to hold in one hand, oval, the glass intact. The frame is tarnished silver. No engravings on the frame exterior, which surprises me. Every other object in this building that belongs to the system has been marked. I turned the mirror over to check the back of the frame. Clean. No crescent, no number, no inscription. I held it up expecting to see myself. The reflection is the room behind me, the typewriter, the desk, the entrance to the passage. Normal in that sense. My reflection is present and accurate. Except the lamp in the reflection is not flickering. I looked at the lamp directly. It's still responding to the vibration from below, a slow, rhythmic flutter, barely perceptible but consistent. Then I looked at the mirror. In the reflection, the lamp is steady, burning without variation. 2 different states of the same object at the same moment. I moved the mirror to different angles. The discrepancy holds from every position. I turned my back to the lamp entirely and watched it in the mirror. Steady, turned to face it directly, flickering. The mirror is not showing me what is currently in this room. It's showing me something else. The same room, the same objects, but in a different state. A state where the vibration is not happening, or has not happened yet, or has already stopped. I don't know which of those is correct. I don't know if it matters which one is correct. What matters is that the mirror and the room are not synchronized. I'm holding this mirror and looking between the reflection and the room, and they are not showing me the same thing. And the vibration from below is getting